we flipped over to the back of the codominance notes, and there are 3 sets of codominance practice problems. Remember that in codominance, the 2 alleles for the trait will both show up if they are both present. So we'll do number 1 together, and then I'll leave time for you to do 2 and 3, and I'll show you the answers for 2 and 3 so you can check your work. Okay, in number 1, it says, in cattle, reddish coat color is not completely dominant to white coat color. Heterozygous individuals have coats that are roan colored. So reading that first 2 sentences, I see my 3 phenotypes are reddish coat, white coat, and roan. This sentence tells me that heterozygous individuals, meaning a genotype with 2 different letters, are the ones that are going to be roan, which it tells me is reddish but with spots of white. So red and white are showing up together. Then it wants me to outline a breeding procedure, so show the Punnett squares of the offspring, in which a true breeding strain of red cattle could be established from a roan bull and a white cow. So what I want to do is find a way to get a red starting from a roan father and a white mother. So the first step in that is to cross a roan bull, he's the father, with a white mother. Okay. So just so I don't skip any steps, first I'm going to assign the letters. R is red, W is white. If my genotype is RR, my cow will be red. If it is WW, my cow will be white. And if it is RW, my cow will be roan. The parents of this first cross are a roan bull and a white cow. So when I cross them, I get 50% roan and 50% white. So the fourth step says, what is the percent occurrence for the phenotypes of the offspring from the above cross? In other words, what percent of the time am I getting red? What percent of the time am I getting roan? And what percent of the time am I getting white? Based on this cross, I'm getting 50% roan, which is RW. And 50% white, which is WW. Okay, so part 1 is finished. Then it wants me to cross 2 roan progeny. Progeny is another word for offspring. So my letters are going to be the same. I'm still working with red, roan, and white. My parents for this second cross are both roan, which I know is RW. And when I cross my 2 roan parents, I get 25% red, 50% roan, and 25% white. So again, in this last step, the percent occurrence for the phenotypes in the offspring are 25% red, 50% roan, and 25% white. In problems 2 and 3, follow all 4 steps of a Punnett square problem to determine the answers. Assign the letters for the genotypes, then cross the parents, write out the parent cross, then fill in the Punnett square, and then answer the questions. Pause the video to complete both 2 and 3, and then come back for the answers. All right, in number 2, we're conducting a cross between a homozygous black cat and a homozygous tan cat. They gave me B for black and T for tan. Which means BB would be black, TT would be tan, and BT together would be black and tan, which is also known as tabby. So BT is black and tan or tabby. So that's step number 1. Step number 2 is to determine my parents, and they want me to cross a homozygous black cat. They didn't have to tell me how homozygous because the only way to be black is BB, but they told me homozygous black and homozygous tan. So I'm going to cross them in the Punnett. And the genotypes of all of the offspring are BT. So all of their offspring would be tabby. In part B, I'm working with the same set of letters, so I'll leave step number 1. And they want to know what would be the expected outcome from a cross of a tabby cat and a black cat. So a tabby cat is BT, and a black cat is BB. So when I cross them, I end up with 50% black and 50% tabby. For number 3, we're now moving to chicken feathers as our trait. And they tell me that a black chicken is crossed with a white chicken, and all of their offspring are checkered. So black is one of the phenotypes, white is another one of the phenotypes, and black and white showing codominantly must be checkered. So for step number 1, I'm going to identify B as black, W as white, BB as a black chicken, WW as a white chicken, and BW is a checkered chicken. My original parents are a black chicken and a white chicken, so I'm crossing a BB with a WW. And when I cross them, all it wants to know is to show the cross, and all of my offspring are going to be BW.